In this tutorial, we're going to create the lampshade, including the internal support structure. Now there's quite a bit going on in this tutorial, so it might even be worthwhile just looking through the tutorial or going through it sort of quickly, just to kind of see all the bits and pieces that are going on in here and where we end up. So like every other tutorial, we pretty much are going to start with a new sketch. But this is a bit of an interesting one because we want to sketch off the bottom here. So I'm just going to orbit around so we can see it, press escape. And this is going to be our sketch plane here off the bottom of the lamp support. Again, as before, because this has all been moved around, we'll just capture that position. Here's another shortcut coming up. Because this is starting to get quite complicated, there's quite a few bits and pieces here, a quicker way of either showing and hiding different components, particularly if you want to hide a few, if I just select the base here and then go down to subarm here, press my shift key and then select that, it's selected everything but the lamp support. Then the keyboard shortcut is V, and so it's just hidden all of that. So if I click away, this is all we see. And if I now actually zoom in on that, or just go and fit that on the screen, perfect, that's what we want. Now this is a lot of circles basically. So C for circle. The first circle will come from the middle of this face. And if we just go up and down here, eventually it should find the center point. See how it says place center point? Our first circle is 100. Our second circle, so C for circle again, is right in the middle again, and it's going to be 6. And what that is, that's actually a hole that we're going to drill through the shade top and also drill into the lamp support for the wire for our light. We need a second circle here as well, which is basically where we want this circle to be is out here halfway between the center and this corner. And that's going to be for a little dowel that we're going to actually help it to glue it all together so it's got a little bit more strength. So we're going to do L for line and create a construction line that goes from the middle out. I'm just going to press escape, select that line, turn that into a construction line. C for circle again, and I want to find the midpoint on that line. So basically if you go along that line until you see this little triangle, click there, 6, enter. A few more circles still. C for circle, from the middle, we're going to come out 80, enter. C for circle again, and we're going to come out 90. And this one, again, I want this to be a construction line because it's not something I want to be, it's not involved in any extrudes at all. So construction line, still not finished. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. C for circle, right up here at the top. Again, I just want to go on here. Look, this one doesn't matter exactly where it is, but just for the sake of neatness, I'm just going to go right at the top here, and this is going to be 3 millimeters. Now this hole here, we're going to have 3 of these. This is for our barbecue skewers, basically, that we're going to use as like a support material. Now we need 3 of these, so we could go and draw them around here and hopefully we get them in the right place. But a really good way to have our three holes or our 3 circles perfectly located around our construction line is if we actually create a circular pattern. So you'll see it's come up here. It wants me to select the objects. So I'm going to select that. It wants me to select the center point that's going to rotate around. So I'll just make sure I've got that. There's my center point. And it's going to default to 3. You can actually change this if you want, but we are going to use 3 in the real world. So we go OK, and you can see there they are. That's all we need for now, so we can finish that sketch. I'll go back to our home view. I'm going to get rid of the lamp support, or not get rid of it, but make it disappear and get this right up on the screen. Okay, now let's start extruding. So the first thing we're going to create is the shade top. We've got our extrude, or E for extrude, and we want to select this, this, and this, and we're going to extrude down 3 millimeters. and we'll make it a new component. In the real world, or at the Strathfield workshop, we're going to use 3mm thick plywood with a nice veneer put on it. This could be solid timber, 12mm thick pine or something else. It could be that as well. But for the sake of what we're doing at the workshop, we're going to extrude that out 3mm, and it's going to be a new component. And you see it appear over here, and we just call that shade top. There we go. Okay, so we're going to turn that off, but turn our sketch back on. And now we're going to create our skewers. So again, we're going to extrude, and all we want are just these 3 points here. And we're going to go down, and this, look, I'm going to put a number in of 75, but that's just a number that I've chosen. So it could be less, it could be more. It's up to you. This will be sort of a choice that you can make in terms of how big you want your shade to be. Now, it will be limited by the material as well. So we're going to call that a new component. Okay. You'll see it appear over here. We're going to just call that skewers. And we'll turn our shade top on. We can kind of see this all just starting to come together now. Okay, so now we need our sort of internal support structure. So we're going to have 2 of these. And in the real world, we're going to laser cut these. So we can have more if required. But just for the sake of this exercise, we're going to create a couple of them. So the first one we want, I'm just going to, again, hide those. E for extrude. We're just going to select that ring there. We want to offset this. I'm going to offset it by 72mm. And then I'm going to extrude it by 3mm. And it's going to be a new component. Now, I've just did a little bit of maths in my head there, and I'll check to see if I'm okay, if I'm right with that. I'm just going to press OK. I'm going to turn my skewers back on. And I'm going to orbit around so I can see the bottom. And yeah, my maths was right. I want those skewers to end up there flush, because if I made those skewers 75mm long and I've offset this by 72 and then I've extruded it by 3 equals 75. Just a little bit of mental arithmetic there. Okay, we'll go back to our home view. Now the next one we just want something in the middle here. So same process again. So we'll go E for extrude. We want that. In this case, we just want it somewhere in the middle. So let's make it, say 35mm, and then we'll just extrude it out. That's not exact, but it'll do. So we're going to offset it, 35, and the distance is going to be 3. And again, we don't want to join it to anything. We want a new component. And we'll go OK. So if we turn our shade top on, where and we have a bit of an orbit around, that's pretty much what we're going to have in terms of our structure. So we'll call this internal support 1, and this one internal support 2. And we'll go back to our home view, and we'll start, we'll just start turning things on. So we'll turn the lamp support on so we can see how all this kind of relates. Now we're just obviously missing one thing, aren't we? Which is the actual veneer. Now this is going to be an interesting extrude, because the veneer is going to be a really, really thinly sliced piece of timber. It's going to be 0.5mm thick. So let's go back to our sketch. We're going to edit our sketch. So here it is. I'm just going to turn the lamp support back off. I'm just going to create another circle. So C for circle, going from the middle. I want to come out, and this one is going to be 100.5. So it's only 0.5mm thick. Press enter, so we've got it. I'm going to finish that sketch. Now this will be a little bit tricky because we're going to do an extrude, but obviously because it's so thin, it's really, really hard to see. So I'm just going to turn off the shade top, and E for extrude. You might need to zoom in, but basically, yeah, if we can see just that, if if you hover over and you can just kind of see that outside edge gets sort of a little bit darker. Yeah, there we go, we got it. And you can see it's a really, really thin extrude. So if I extrude that 75 millimeters and we don't join it, it's a new component, and we go OK, and we've got everything turned on. I think for what we need for that, we just turn our shade top on as well. We'll just orbit around. Yeah, everything's fitting perfectly. So let's actually now unhide everything. So again, same as before, what we can do is we can just select this top piece. I'm just going to press escape, sorry. Select this top piece, then go down here, just hold our shift key and then select this one and type V. Everything comes back into view, and we'll just go back into zoom window so we've got it on the screen. Go to our home page, click away, and you can see we've got everything here. Just going to turn that sketch off. Now remember again, well, same as in the last tutorial, we've got our little problem. So we haven't actually defined a relationship between these parts. Now we could, like I said in the last tutorial, we could go into our assembly area and just join these, or if I just go back, just undo that. So I've just got that sort of all in the right place. We'll go to our rigid group, right click on it, and we're just going to delete that rigid group. And then we'll go back in here. And again, we can just do our little, now that we know our little selection shortcut, we can go to our main arm, and we've got to rename that component too. Just remember to do that. But press our shift key and then right click and create a new rigid group and go OK. So let's make sure, yep, that's now behaving properly. So we've got that all right. And then just to finish it off, we'll rename this and we'll call it veneer. And we should again be good here and go rename that as well and just call it lampshade.